Sadly, it is our last day in Rio.
To celebrate our last night here, we are going to a nice restaurant, which we rarely go to.
What's up, guys? Sadly, it is our last day in Rio. We'll probably be back on this trip, but we're gonna travel all around Brazil first. So for our last night, we're doing something special.
We've had a great time in Rio, but to celebrate our last night here, we are going to a nice restaurant, which we rarely go to. We try to do budget travel in general. So we are going to a place called Aprazivel. Probably saying it wrong.
Aprazivel.
But it's supposed to be pretty amazing with a gorgeous view overlooking the city and inside these tropical lush gardens. Can't wait. So we're waiting for our Uber and we should be there in about 20 minutes. It's located in Santa Teresa. Why, thank you. Bom dia.
Bom dia.
Okay, we made it. Looks gorgeous.
Look at that view.
It looks like a little treehouse bungalow.
Going down.
This has such a cool vibe. You can see the golden lanterns all around. We just sat down.
And they gave us a little bag, fancy little bag that we're supposed to put our mask in.
That way you get to keep your mask clean from food and they get to keep their tables clean from your germy mask.
Win-win, symbiotic relationship. We're gonna take a look at the wine menu. This place looks fancy. It looks like we're in a bungalow, or there are a bunch of little bungalows here. So I'll do the piscinal de caju. So I'm ordering a cashew drink. Cashew juice is something that's kind of popular in Brazil. Nowhere else that I've ever been have I noticed that. But here, not only a cashew juice, but a cashew alcoholic drink. This should be pretty interesting.
And then for my drink, I got a caipiçaí. That's kind of hard to say, but it's acai and strawberry with cachaça in it. So we're trying to figure out what to eat right now. This is a French-Brazilian restaurant. It looks like there are a lot of healthy options. There's some pasta and seafood.
There are a couple options from the Amazon, so that is always interesting.
Acai guacamole.
It's called acai guacamole, but it says bijou made with jambu. That's the explanation of it, so
I
I'm
bet
not really
that would
sure.
be interesting, but I don't know if we are daring enough to spend that much money to just try it. So I think we might start making this a thing where in each new place we go, we splurge on one meal, because it's always interesting to see what a fine dining experience is like versus just having street food or eating at a little local cafe. So it's fun just to see the differences. This restaurant has a very calm, chill vibe. You feel like you're right in there with nature, in the jungle, with epic views of Rio. Alex got his, I'm gonna go ahead and give mine a try. You can see that it has the purple color of the acai and then chunks of strawberry in it. That's smooth. You know when a drink is done right when the alcohol isn't overpowering and it's a good blend of all the different flavors. So it's a little sweet, but you can still taste the alcohol.
Okay, here's the piscinão de caju. Caju is the cashew fruit. So this is the top here of the cashew fruit with the cashew there.
Wow, that looks so interesting.
Oh, wow. And you can see the pieces in there of the fruit just muddled in there. Let's give it a try. We haven't had the juice from this yet. I've been excited. It has a mild flavor. You get a lot of the cachaça flavor in there, which is the Brazilian alcohol, and just a little bit of sweetness, but you can't really place where the sweetness comes from if you haven't had the fruit yet. But it's kind of a mild flavor, a good flavor, kind of like an apple, maybe. I like it.
We're a fan of caju.
This has to be one of the coolest looking restaurants out here in Brazil. Definitely take a look into this place. Look at this.
So as we said, this is our very last night in Rio De Janeiro, and so as we're sitting here enjoying our dinner, we've been chatting about what we think about Rio and some of our favorite moments.
So obviously you come to Rio for the beaches. That is a big part of Rio, and the beaches have been amazing. There are a lot of people, but they're still beautiful. Copacabana, Ipanema, and before we came here, or for years, I have looked at Rio in pictures, and I had kind of a picture in my mind of how it would be. I thought things in the pictures were probably oversaturated, over-glamorized and everything, and it just looked like one of the most beautiful cities in the world when I saw it for the last 10 years of my life. And finally we've traveled here, and it is true. I think it's one of the most beautiful cities. When you see the landscape from the mountains to the valleys, the ocean, everything together, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
So basically it lived up to Alex's expectation, it sounds like. For me, I was a little skeptical. I'd always heard a lot of good things about Rio de Janeiro, but I'm not a big city person, so I didn't know what I was going to think. But honestly, I like it so much better than I thought I was going to. Rio has a lot to offer. It's very diverse. So it has beaches, it has rainforest and hiking, it has some history, it has a lot of different kinds of foods, and the people are just so friendly. We love Brazil. We have like nothing bad to say about Brazil. There were a lot more people here during COVID than I ever would have thought.
That has been a very interesting part.
Yeah, very surprising.
So I think what's interesting with what we're saying right now is that I had high expectations of Rio, and Rio exceeded my expectations. Lindsay had low expectations, and the expectations were obviously exceeded, and she really loves the city and didn't know if she would. So that says a lot.
Yeah.
This says a lot about Rio.
It's
Rio
not
is
just
beautiful.
hyped up.
Yeah.
So as much as wobbly table. So as much as we love Rio, we have a lot more of Brazil to see. So next we are heading to Paraty, and then we're going to Salvador Bahia and making our way up to the north. If you guys have suggestions of things that you think we should see, we want to hear about them, because right now we don't really have that much planned ahead except for those two cities.
And from what all of you guys are saying, there are endless options in Brazil of things to see. You keep telling us to go to more things in Rio, more things in Bahia, in Salvador, in Florianopolis, in the north. There's just so much to see here, and it's very hard to choose. So if you guys can come together and just leave a bunch of comments and let us know what is the absolute
The top
best.
things that we
Because
can't miss.
we're not going to be able to see everything in a few months. We have 3 months or 90 days visa.
And we've already
We're
been
gonna
here
go-
for about a month, I think.
Yeah, already just seeing the main cities really. So give us your suggestions, and we're going to have to go off of what we hear the most. So get to the comments and just leave a bunch of stuff.
And we'll try to narrow it down. We'll do our best. Alright, we ordered some food. We will show you it when it arrives. And we got more drinks.
Alright, we just got our drinks. They look beautiful.
Alex's looks more beautiful than mine.
So we'll start with mine. I got the Caipa Bella. Look at that. There's some star fruit hanging on the side. I don't even know how they're... It's like they cut them.
It's
but
hanging by a thread.
yeah, so they cut the star fruit, but they don't fully cut it so that it's still hanging by a piece of its skin. That's awesome. That doesn't look real. And then there's some maracuja in there. And then there's some ginger, sugar, and a little bit of rosemary. This little thing is rosemary. Let's give it a try. This is a beautiful drink.
See if it tastes as good as the name and the appearance.
Oh yeah. So as the name suggests, Caipa Bella, it's like a caipirinha, but it's a little different. Caipirinha with a twist. And I like the star fruit flavor in there and the different flavors. So it's kind of like a maracuja caipirinha, which we've had a ton of times on the beach, but it has some extra flavors
I
in
couldn't
there.
even get a sip. The straw was plugged with some fruit, I think.
Whenever you have maracuja, it usually gets stuck up in there. It's the perfect size for a
The
straw to get
seeds go
stuck.
in there.
Perfectly wrong size.
And I got the Tutti Frutti. This has strawberry, maracuja, pineapple, and cachaça.
But it changes. The only explanation that it says is seasonal fruits. So, probably depends on the season.
There's some lime in there too. So we didn't really know what we were going to get with this, but let's give it a try. I'm not very good at describing flavors. It takes me a bit to reflect, so we'll see what Alex does.
Well, this one is, as it says, it's just fruit. It's just a mix of fruit juices, fruit pieces, and the cachaça. So it tastes like the cachaça.
You can taste the cachaça more.
But then you can taste the maracuja when you get a little seed going up the straw. You can taste the pieces of strawberry in there, and whatever fruit might be in there. So it's pretty good. It's just like a alcohol smoothie in a way. These are really good. They have very good drinks here. We haven't had our food yet, but we're waiting on it. Hopefully in the next 20 minutes we will get our dishes. But until then, look at that.
Every time he touches it, I think it's just gonna kerplunk fall off, but it doesn't. It somehow stays intact. Oops. I guess I'll eat that.
Blooper.
The atmosphere of this place is so nice. It's very romantic and very chill. It'd be good for any kind of special occasion or even just a dinner with a friend.
I know.
Chicken. Agradável, prazeroso. Restaurante Aprazivel.
Ooh, is that the polenta?
Yeah. It's both from Minas Gerais.
Ooh.
The beans, chili bean. The
Beans?
chili bean. The for the chicken.
So I got a chicken, rice, and kale dish.
Healthy.
Healthy. It looks like it has some sausage in there also. That looks really good. That's what, like a squash, looks like? And then he said that these are some kind of bean and some kind of like chili sauce or something that I use on the chicken. And here is Lindsay's. This is a pork. Do you know what that is? She has pork and then some kind of kale pieces. And this is a polenta. Wow.
I've never tried polenta. Alex said that I'll like it, so we'll see.
Polenta comes in many forms, but this, I've never seen a polenta like this. That looks really good. And this is some kind of puree.
Glaze.
Pineapple glaze, a pineapple puree.
We're gonna capture this epic moment of Alex enjoying his first bite from a fancy restaurant in Rio De Janeiro.
So I have a little bit of rice in here, a little bit of chicken, and whatever other little things are in there. Some kind of vegetables are in there as well. Looks almost like a chicken fried rice. That chicken is cooked perfectly. It just melts in your mouth. There's a little bit of spice too. Who knows what exactly is in here, but it's like the perfect blend of spices in this rice and this sauce that the rice is cooked in.
We promise we're gonna get better at explaining food the more we do it. It's not our specialty.
Our forte. Alright, now we'll get Lindsay.
Alright, this is gonna be my very first time trying polenta. It almost looks like I could eat it with my fingers, but we're at a nice restaurant, so I'm not going to. It looks like fried tofu. It's got a crispy outside and a very soft, moist inside. It's kind of salty. So polenta is a type of corn, and as I'm eating it, I do taste a little bit of a corn flavor. And it'd probably be really good if I dipped it in that pineapple glaze. Oh my gosh, I went to cut this pork. You don't even need to, it just flakes off.
Take a little bit of that
I can
kale.
barely get it on my fork. It's so tender. Oh my gosh. Brazil knows how to do their meats. Crunchy kale, interesting. Not bad. My favorite part is the meat. Wow. It just falls apart. Sometimes you do get what you pay for. Alright, so we're gonna enjoy the rest of our meal, and then I might just order a dessert. I haven't really been eating dessert while in Brazil, but I might have to splurge. We just finished our meals. We are full. It was delicious. A lot healthier than what we've been eating. We've been having a lot of carbs, or at least I have. All the pastels, empanadas, breads, sandwiches.
It's good to have something a little more healthy, a little more quality.
So I tried to order some guava cheesecake, but they're out of it, which has been happening a lot. Everything I want on the menu, restaurants never seem to have, sadly. So I think we're gonna call it a night. We hope we can find an Uber. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere right now. And we're about, what, 25 minutes from our hotel?
25 to 30 minutes from where we are residing, and where we are right now, we're just in the mountains, the jungle, the mountains in the middle of nothing really. At least that's what it seems like, far from the city, which is why we have a good view of the city. So usually we use Uber in Brazil. We're not that good with taxis here, so
It's cheap and convenient, so
hopefully we can grab one. We'll let you know.
wish us luck, and we will see you tomorrow on our way to Parachi.
So guys, today Q&A is going to be a little different. Lindsay is sitting right here. And we're eating some acai. So we're going to film the Q&A and kind of switch off back and forth and answer some of your questions while we're eating.
Real quick before we get started, we found out this is our favorite acai place so far. It's Bibi's. We come here pretty much every day for acai.
Bibi Sucos.
Bibi Sucos. It has the right combination between sweet and then the original flavor of the acai. Our first question comes from Rose Wardale. She asks, are you going to be together for Christmas, and where will it be if so? So we are going to be spending Christmas together. It's probably going to be in Brazil, maybe even in the Amazon jungle. Christmas is about a month or so away, so yes, we will be in Brazil celebrating together. I don't know what we'll be doing. We haven't planned our trip that far out, but we'll see.
Okay, the next one is from Kristen Kirchhoff, who asks, which camera are you using now and why this one? So recently in the Brazil videos, we've been using this, which is a GoPro. When we're not using the GoPro, we do a little bit of footage on our iPhones. And the reason for that is just the safety in Brazil about theft. We don't want to bring out my good camera and get it stolen or something like that. It draws a lot of attention. But actually I got a new camera right before this trip that I've been wanting to use, and that is a Sony. So it's a Sony A7R3. So it's a really good camera. Our videos were supposed to look phenomenal, like perfect, but we haven't been able to do that because it's kind of bulky. So we'll try to bring it out whenever we can in Brazil, but most of the stuff we're going to be filming is just on an old GoPro, and that's why it looks like this. It's not perfect, but it's small. It gets the job done.
Next question comes from Mark Keller. He asked 2 different very good questions, so we're going to answer them both. First one is, now that you are back in the US surrounded by McDonald's, shopping malls, Starbucks, etc., how does it feel looking back at videos of your life in Peru? So he's referring to when we went back home after Peru. We spent about 2 months back home, and now we're in Brazil. But we're going to answer this question from when we were in the US.
So look, we're in Brazil now. Not quite in the US, but we were there for a couple months. And yeah, it was different. It was like a reverse culture shock, being able to get things at Walmart's and McDonald's, Starbucks, Pete's Coffee, Target, Kmart, all those kind of places that we grew up with always around us. When we were in Peru, we didn't have any of those comforts of home, the ease of shopping, those kind of things, especially on lockdown. So it was weird. Of course, it's nice in ways. It's very comfortable. You can get anything you want.
Convenient.
Very convenient.
So in regards to convenience, all of those kind of chain stores are nice to have in the US, but we did like having the more unique local shops in Peru. You feel more connected to where you are, and in each new city you're trying different things that you can't just get anywhere in Peru. So there's pros and cons, but yeah, it definitely felt weird going back to the US. The second half of his comment and question is, in retrospect, does the 7 months spent in Peru now seem like it lasted a long time or actually went quickly? For me personally, it felt like it went by super quickly. Like if someone asked me, how long do you think you spent in Peru? And I didn't actually logically know, I'd probably say like 3 months. It seemed like it went by super fast. During the time, it even did seem like it was going by fast as well, because the days just seemed to pass and we weren't actually really doing much other than filming. So I'll let Alex speak from his perspective.
Looking back on it now, it feels like it went quickly. It feels almost like a dream. When we watch those videos, it almost seems like it was a different life, like somebody else's life that we were watching. We know that it happened to us, but it was just so different coming home. Everything completely changed, and now being here, it's again so much different. It's almost hard to feel connected to the people that we felt like when we were on lockdown and we felt stuck there. We had a great time in a lot of ways, but it was just such a difference in life.
And a few times we've told the story to people that we've met here in Brazil, and when it actually comes out of our mouths like, oh, we were stuck in Peru for 6 months, like we couldn't leave, it sounds crazy. Like it's hard to believe that actually happened. And when we say stuck, we're not meaning it in a negative way. It's more so just to describe that we couldn't leave really, even if we would have wanted to, because all the borders closed and airports closed. So that's the end of the Q&A. We are going to try to do these maybe a few times a week. So if you want your question answered, leave a comment below, write Q&A and ask your question. And we're going to be doing daily videos, so stay tuned for those.
So we release our videos at 12:34 Peru time, Cusco Peru time. Or if you're in Rio in Brazil or that area, it's at 2:34. So 2:30, middle of the day. If you like travel videos, make sure you subscribe, because we're doing daily videos of our travels around the world. And like this video, it really helps us out. And we will see you tomorrow.